Yeah. Yeah, it is. Peak is actually peak. Yeah. Okay. If you insist, I will elaborate further. Please stop insisting. You really want me to talk about? Okay, fine. I'll talk. Okay, alright. Peak is the new hit indie friend slop game. I really dislike that name, and I will be using it ironically throughout this video. Okay, it's a bit. It will be a joke. Please don't actually think I use this term. This goofy game was made by the same people who developed Tabs and Another Crab's Adventure, Landfall and AgroCrab. Unexpectedly, these two indie companies, one making a silly battle simulator and the other making a silly Souls-like, would come together to make a climbing roguelike, where you play as scouts who have just crash-landed on a remote island.
Don't worry, guys. I'll drive.
You're gonna what? No, wait.
Band together with your friends to escape the impossible landscape that contains the tropics, the tundra, and the molten crust somehow. Use items from luggage scattered around the map.
The stupid fucking suitcase is still in that goddamn tree.
Eat when you're hungry.
Nia! I'm coming over to feed you food.
Don't get poisoned.
Oh, okay.
And best of all, watch as your stupid friends plummet to their death while screaming as if they were actually falling in real life.
This branch, and I'm trying to jump over.
Okay, it's a tough jump.
Okay. Guys, launch down.
Hey, did you guys hear that?
Like down?
What just happened? I heard someone fall.
I heard Lauren scream.
She missed the jump, and she went very far.
Alright. As many of you are probably very well aware of, we, as friendship or friend slop consumers, or as I like to call it, slopper toppers, have already been through the motions of this exact situation before with Lethal Company, Repo, Content Warning, and every other game out there. You see a cool game that somehow every YouTuber is playing. It's relatively cheap, usually around $10. It's designed to be played with friends, and it's designed to capture ha-ha, laugh-out funny moments. Usually these games aren't fun or as fun when you play by yourself. You need kind of a group of friends. Sure, it's a fun challenge to try to meet quota or pay the taxman by yourself and just keep going, but it's usually a one-off thing unless you really don't have any friends. In that case, I can be your friend. These games usually also get stale after a while, even with a consistent group of people to play with, because runs just kind of feel endless, there's not really a clear goal in sight, and you just are kind of playing until you die. Peak, however, is different, in both categories of playing by yourself and actually having an end goal. Peak, I believe, is the peak of friend slop. Let's start with having a goal. Yeah, in Peak, you have to reach the peak of the volcano, or mountain, whatever you want to call it. Having a goal to get to not only makes each run in Peak more memorable, but also forces more interaction and cooperation between the people you're playing with. In other friend slop games, runs can start to blend together because there's never a clear indication of progress. Sure, there are runs where you get to level 10 and runs where you die on level 1, but because there's no end goal in sight, it feels like each run, at the end of the day, doesn't really matter. Peak, however, with its stages and clear progression, makes each run feel like it matters. There can be exciting moments where you clutch up and save the day by reaching to the top, and there can be devastating moments where you fall with all the important items, causing your team to lose. You, as a person, matter as a member of the team in Peak, and in real life as well. In other friend slop games, your death honestly doesn't make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. Sure, it's a little annoying to try to get your body back, but in the end, you can just keep coming back with little to no consequence, except maybe you just don't have enough health. In Peak, your death means something. It can cost your team an important item, it can drain resources, and every time you come back, you get a little bit of your stamina bar inflicted with a curse, which is uncurable or unremovable. Plus, I'm not jumping down the mountain to grab your body, I'm sorry. Because you as a player actually matter in the team, it forces more cooperation between players, allowing for better bonding and better discourse between your friends, which is the whole point of friend slop games. And I'm sorry, but there's nothing funnier than asking where's so-and-so, waiting a couple seconds, and then seeing their ghost stare into your soul.
Bing bong.
Alan. The run's done.
Speaking of ghosts, what's unique to Peak is the fact that as the dead, you can still speak to the living. Now, I don't know what lore implications this has, but from a gameplay perspective, it's such a simple yet impactful change. Not only can you keep talking and still be part of the fun by annoying your friends, you can also actually be useful and help spot new paths or luggages by zooming in and out as a ghost. Hey Isaac, what's up?
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, I tried
Hey,
helping
can you
Lauren,
tell
it did not work.
Is Nia still in there?
Yeah, Nia's still on that, what's up?
Can you tell them to kill themselves in the scavenger doesn't get me keys?
Nia, Isaac wants you to kill your... There have been many times where I can honestly get quite bored because I have to wait for my friends to meet quota, simply because some random bullcrap killed me in the beginning. Of course, there's always fun when you spectate the last guy and you can't let him know that there's the backshot monster behind him, but this is more of an exception than the rule. Overall, Peak just provides more incentive and more abilities for friends to work together, allowing for a better time as a whole group instead of just having one-off adventures where you happen to be in the same group. Hell, the game even sends a boogeyman after you if you don't stick with your group, forcing you to stick together. And if you hate sticking together or simply don't have any friends, you can also try solo mode. Now, I know many of you are probably thinking that solo mode in Peak will be like solo mode in other friend swap games, where it can be something fun to do while you're bored, but ultimately gets boring after a while. However, at least in my experience, I found myself coming back to Peak to play on my own. Not only is there incentive to play solo with a badge and an achievement, but as mentioned before, there is an end goal, making it feel that much more satisfying to make it on your own. There's honestly something so chill about playing Peak while having some of your favorite tracks in the background, just kind of jamming and climbing. It makes you feel like you're actually outside for once. You should be outside. Go touch some grass. Peak as a game is designed to be played with friends, with its many mechanics with helping someone up, feeding someone a poisonous apple, and the numerous items designed around having a team. However, the game feels like having friends is more like an addition to the fun instead of a necessity to have a good time. Peak is great with how its simplicity builds complexity. As a player, it's fun to learn niche techs with movements and items which can be implemented in solo and cooperative play. Things like comboing items, lunging at the very end of your stamina, or how to properly pull up your friends are all simple game mechanics in concept, but they build on each other and apply differently depending on where you are on the island. It's a bit contradicting to say that Peak is the peak of friend slop because one of its strengths is its ability to be played alone, but sometimes your friends aren't online to play. They have lives with different commitments and times, and sometimes, you just want to play the game. So instead of having to wait or play another time, you can challenge yourself and get better by yourself so that when your friends do get on, you can help them climb to the top and escape from the peak. If you do escape, or fail miserably, you can change the difficulty, which is categorized in tiers called Ascents, where you can change it to Tenderfoot to make it easier for any casual gamers, or rise the Ascents by 1, each time adding a difficulty modifier like adding more weight to items or becoming more hungry as the run goes on. This, at least for me, for someone who plays Balatro and Slay the Spire with, ascensions and stakes, is another incentive to keep playing either with friends or by myself, because there's an added challenge of beating each ascent. For those of you who don't really care about rising through the ascents or just don't want to change difficulties and want to just keep playing the regular base game, I still believe Peak is great for replayability, with each run feeling different every day due to the map changing, the amount of people you have in your group, and the items you get throughout the run. And I know this can be applied to other friend swap games, with some games having more variety in maps and items, but Peak combines all the reasons I stated earlier with its replayability to create not just a good friend swap game, but a good game in general. Yes, I know friend swap games are also games, so doesn't really make sense to say that, but you get my point. It's not just a game that you play with friends, it is a good game on its own. So, in conclusion, yes, Peak is actually Peak. At least for now. Inevitably, there will be another friend swap game that takes the gaming space by storm. There will always be an endless cycle of hopping from game to game with your group of friends, friend slopping until we actually get lives. However, for now, if you only have enough money to spend on one friend swap game, I highly recommend Peak. It's challenging, it's funny, and if you don't have any friends, just go grab some from my basement. I have a lot of random people down there, and I really need to get rid of some of them. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying the kind of talking about video games content I've been doing. If you want to see something else, like me talk about a different topic like in general, or just a different style of video, maybe like a compilation of funny moments or whatever, please let me know. I'm happy to experiment and play around with what I want to do with this YouTube channel.